Hey everybody, this is your graphing ratio tables video note. So if you read this first little paragraph, it says that Tyus Battle is a point guard for the Syracuse University basketball team. Determine the value of his turnover ratio in order to fill in the ratio table. So the first thing it says, the most important thing I should say that it says, is determine the value. So his turnover ratio means how many assists he has. That's this column. An assist means when you pass somebody the ball and they score. Compared to how many turnovers he makes. A turnover is when the other team gets the ball from you somehow. So the first thing we need to do is determine the value here. If I look at these two, I quickly know that this is 10 to 6. It's a ratio. I know that 2 goes into both. So I'm going to say 2 goes into 10 5 times and 2 goes into 6 3 times. So the value of my ratio is 5 to 3. Nothing to it. So how do I get from 3 to 15? That's times 5. What do I do to one side? I'm going to do the other. So I'm going to do 5 times 5. That's going to give me 25 here. I'm going to get rid of these. I hope you keep them on yours. I'm going to get rid of them so that we can be less confused, hopefully. Here, how about to get from 5 to 35 is times 7. So to go from 3 to this spot, we're going to go times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. And we got one more to do. How do we get from 3 to 30? It's times 10. 5 times 10 gets me this one. So there's our table filled in. No big deal. 5 times 7, this one's got blanked out. All right, if we look over to this side, you see something called ordered pairs. So ordered pairs are how we're going to graph something. So if you just take our ratio of 10 to 6, we're going to say the first number is 10, the second number is 6. Remember, the first number is your x value, the second number is your y value. That's going to play a lot of importance to us here. So we have 10 to 6. The next one says 25 to 15. The next one says 35 to 21. I'm just labeling these in a different way. We've already calculated these ratios. So these are x values and y values. They're going to help us to determine how to graph this. So what I would like you to do is to hit pause and to answer this question on the bottom. It says explain how you filled the blanks in the ratio table from problem number 1. So I want at least 2 sentences explaining how you filled in the blanks from the part on the top. So you can hit pause and do that. All right, now we're going to go about graphing this. We'll talk about how you what you explained in class. So we're going to start talking about graphing this. So we're going to start with putting a 0 where the lines meet. And we're going to label the x and y axis. So the y axis is the one that goes vertically, like so. And the x axis is the one that goes horizontally. Easy enough. So we have those labeled. The next thing we're going to label is the actual assists and turnovers. So if we look back over at the assists and turnovers, the one that comes first is the x value. The one that comes second is the y value. So it says assists are on the x side. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to label the x value with assists, like so. And then I'm going to go on the y-axis. That's labeled as turnovers. So I'm going to come over here on the y-axis, and I'm going to label this as turnovers. So all my x-axis, both my x-axis and the assists for the x-axis are labeled, and the y-axis and the turnovers are labeled as well. All right. So let's actually put our information on here. So we have for our assists and turnovers, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 for each. So if we look at the order of pairs, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 for each. So if we go across the x-axis, there's actually 21 boxes here. That's not on every graph, that's just on this particular one. So if I have 4 things I need to label, and there are 21 places to put it, I have to do 21 divided by 4, and the closest whole number, 21 divided by 4, is 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count over 5. So I'm going to start here, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to put a marker here, and I'm going to do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get the idea. Okay, now, what are you going to label these? Well, we're going to label those with our x values. So our first x value is 10. Our second x value is 25. our third X value is 35, and our fourth X value is 50. Not 56, which that looks like. Okay. Well, sir, that should be a 50, everybody. Okay, now let's go up the y-axis. Now there's a different number here. Going up here, there's 25. So from 0 up to the top of this, there's 25. So we still have 4 numbers. How many 4s going to 25? There's 6. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to count up 6. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. And we're going to label those like so. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's my labels. Feel free to hit pause, rewind, do whatever you got to do. So we're going to fill this in with the y value. So the first y value is 6. The second one is 15. The third one is 21. And the last one is 30. So now we need to graph. So if we look at this first point, this 10, 6, I call them points. It's an ordered pair. It's saying if I start at 0, I'm going to go, if I start at 0 here, I'm going to go over to the 10, and I'm going to go up to the 6. So I started at 0, I went over to the 10, up to the 6. Because I'm using this now, this 10, 6. So over 10, up 6. My first ordered pair goes like so. So the second one says over 25, up 15. Remember, the first one's X, the second one's Y. So I'm going to go over to the 25, and I'm going to go up to the 15, like so. The third one says over 35, up 21. Notice that I'm starting at 0 every time. I'm going over to the 35 and up to the 21 right there. I'm putting my points where the lines intersect. And the last one says over 50, up 30. So I start at 0, I go over 50, I go up 30, which is right there. Final part of this graph. Oops, I made a mistake there. I didn't go over far enough. My 50 is here. I need to be there. Final part of this graph should be drawing a straight line. So you need to use a ruler or a straight edge of some kind so that your line's straighter than that. So there's our graph. The final thing that we have to come up with is a title for our graph. So in this case, we want to be as specific as we can be. I'm going to say turnover ratio. For Ty's battle, it's this season, so we're going to say 17-18. Notice that my important words are capitalized and that my title is underlined. Your job will be to complete the graph on the back. That is graphing ratio tables video notes.